Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at DC Nation number 0. This is a 25-cent comic that is supposed to preview some of the new titles and books coming out. First of all, we have Batman in Your Big Day. Batman's not in here. This is written by Tom King with art by Clay Mann, colors by Jordi Belair, Clayton Cowles letters, Brittany Holzer, associate editor, and Jamie Rich, editor. This was actually a Joker story. It was pretty interesting. Joker looks super creepy in a couple of scenes. It's basically about Joker sitting around at some random guy's house waiting for a wedding invitation that he thinks is supposed to come. Well, of course it ends poorly, but it's a lot of dialogue and sitting around, and this guy getting nervous that he's going to get killed, rightfully so. It was an interesting little story, but didn't really have anything to do with anything. Batman's getting married. Yeah, it ties into Batman number 48 on sale in June. Okay, that was actually a pretty decent story. It just really didn't have anything to do with anything. Then we have Superman in Office Space, written by Brian Michael Bendis, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, penciler, Dexter Vines, inker, Alex Sinclair colors, Josh Reed letters, Jessica Chen, associate editor, Mike Cotton, editor, and Brian Cunningham, group editor. And this is a very wordy, blah blah blah, talky, nothing happens story in the office, in the bullpen, where Perry White is talking, and apparently something happened to Lois Lane. Nobody seems to know what, and Perry offers Clark her office, and then he takes off as Superman, and there's some lady named Miss Good who has got some kind of power or whatever. I don't know. It was a lot of talking, and I didn't care about any of it because it didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened in the story. It was just a lot of talking and a hint at a setup. That's it. It was kind of boring. And if this is the type of work that Bendis is going to do on Superman, it's going to suck. Because Superman should be a dynamic action character. He's supposed to be kind of, I don't know, I always felt like he was for younger readers. And he should be having big brawls and throwdowns with villains and doing Superman stuff, saving kittens from trees and smiling all the time. Instead, he looks like he's going to be a broody, temperamental panty waste. So I'm not impressed. If this is how Bendis writes Superman, we can expect Superman to be a bunch of garbage. It looks boring. It doesn't look like there's any real action in it at all. I'm not impressed. It's just boring. You know what? I wonder what John Byrne's doing. His Superman was always doing stuff. There was always action adventure. There wasn't a lot of sitting around playing with your belly button like Bendis seems to do. Honestly, I sometimes think Bendis should have retired like 15 years ago. Then we have the last story, which is the Justice League in the No Justice Prelude by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and Joshua Williamson. Art by George Jimenez? I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. Colors by Alejandro Sanchez. Andwell designed, did the letters. Andrea Shia, assistant editor. Rebecca Taylor, editor. Marie Javins, group editor. Now, visually, it's pretty good. I just am experiencing event fatigue. This looks like an event I don't care about. A lot of moral flexibility where the villains and heroes are teaming up for, I don't know why. They don't explain it. This is supposed to be a prelude. All I know is at the end, Supergirl encounters some sort of large celestial beings, which reminds me of the Celestials in the Avengers book. Granted, it will probably be handled better here than in garbage level Marvel, but there's a lot of little tee-hee hints in here. We got Harley Quinn. You know who she is. Oh, girl. Oh, snap. And then there's Lex Luthor, evil super genius. Then why is he on the Justice League? It's just, I don't like the little tee-hee nonsense bits. Yeah, there's Omega Titans they talk about. I don't know. I didn't care about that. It was boring. It looks like it might be interesting, but it didn't tell me anything. I feel like it was just like an excerpt from a book that I should have read before that. Like, there should have been more to it. I'd have to say the best story is the Batman story that doesn't have Batman in it, and it's just the Joker. The art in that is really, really good, I think. The story was actually pretty coherent. It's the only one that I would say was a full, coherent story. The rest is just teases. The Superman one was dumb. It didn't go anywhere, and it just had Clark acting like a broody emo teenager, and I don't know what the token black lady's for. It just, I don't care at all. It didn't inspire me to buy anything. It just said, oh look, here's a book coming out that's a lot of talking. Oh boy, lots of talking, because that's worked so well. We're gonna talk, and say nothing. Waste of my time. I don't have time for that. I have a life. I want to read some action adventure, escapism. I don't want to read a bunch of people saying things and not actually conveying anything. The Justice League No Surrender thing looks kind of boring. There's a bunch of nonsense happening. We don't know the context. They're doing something with Brainiac. Why? I don't know. It's a prelude. It's supposed to tell me what's going on. Doesn't. For a quarter, it's not bad. Buy it for the Joker story. That is actually really good and pretty creepy. Otherwise, the last two stories are dumb. I would have to say the letters and the inks are good in all of them. I thought the coloring was really good on the Justice League story. It had some really cool shading effects, especially in the first couple pages. That first page with Batman looked really, really cool, and I would contribute a lot of that to the inks and colors. But the Brian Michael Bendis story, I thought was pretty forgettable in every respect. The inks and letters and colors were good. The art wasn't that spectacular though, and Lois Lane looked really weird in the little photo of her they had, and there's a lot of like lack of detail and like weird shadow people in the background that look kind of lazy. But the Joker story was good, so I'll get it for that. But that'll do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel, and we hope to see you on the next one.